Hello, welcome back to Mark's Garden UK at Rose Cottage near Nantwich in Cheshire. One of the nice things about having a YouTube channel is that occasionally a product manufacturer will send you an email and say, can we send you a product to have a look at and review? So that's exactly what I'm going to do in today's video, because Saka have sent me this mini electric chainsaw, 4-inch portable cordless electric chainsaw. So I'm going to do an unboxing, charge it up, read the instructions and have a play around with it and let you know what I think about it. Of course, the fact that it's a mini chainsaw, don't let that lull you into a false sense of security. It's going to have sharp blades. It's for cutting through wood. Gloves and safety at all times, and of course your safety is your responsibility, so take it seriously and make sure you take all the necessary precautions. So I've got some gloves on, let's have a look inside the box. Mini chainsaw plus 1 battery. Now you can buy these with 2 batteries. I always think it's advisable to get 2 batteries because one can be charging whilst you continue using the product, but Saka have sent me the one with 1 battery. Of course, if you add a battery, it's going to put the price up, and we'll talk about price in a moment. So what have we got? There is the screwdriver. There is a little bottle, and I can confirm that there is some liquid inside that, so presumably that's some oil for the blade. There's a little charger adapter. Here's the product itself, and the chain is already installed by the looks of it, which is helpful because sometimes I found installing the chain the most difficult part of the process. There's the wrench, there's the battery, little bit of packaging and some instructions. No doubt the instructions will tell me to charge the battery, so I'm going to go away now, charge the battery and read the instructions. I'll come back to you in a moment. So I've now read the instructions and the safety instructions extremely carefully. The battery took about 30 minutes to charge up. The light went green after 30 minutes. That was after it came out of the box. It may take longer to charge in between uses. So whenever you're handling this, make sure that's not attached. There is oil in here. Apparently you use vegetable oil just to lubricate the chain. These 2 tools here are for lengthening and shortening the bar, which adjusts the tension on the blade. You've got to get the tension right, and there's detailed instructions in there. As always, safety first, good gloves, ear protection, eye protection, and I'll be putting those on in a moment when I start using the tool. You're supposed to lubricate it between each use, and you're supposed to check the adjustment of the chain between each use. And this yellow form here looks like an addendum. They're very well written actually, these instructions, and very easy to understand, good plain English, but these look like they might have been added on at a later date, and they're just a little bit of a troubleshooting guide there, just in case it stops working. It tells you the probable reasons why. So I'm now going to lubricate it, adjust the tension, attach the battery, go and have a play with it in the garden, cutting up some logs. And there should be 2 or 3 millimeters of slack on this chain. That is too slack, so it needs tensioning. So I'm basically going to use the little wrench just to loosen it, just adjust it slightly, and then tighten. Next thing you're going to do is put a little bit of this lubrication on the chain, all the way around. So let's have a go at cutting with this miniature electric chainsaw by Saka. It went through that very easily, very cleanly. Now I'm finding that quite easy to use. Take these off so I can speak to you properly. A couple of points to note. It says in the instructions about having the chain pointing in the right direction. Chainsaw blades have directional cutting edges and they've got to be put on the right way. If you put them on the wrong way, it won't cut. So just pay attention to how you put them on. Keep it well lubricated. Well, I'm quite pleased with that. You have to remember that this is probably at the mid price point range. You can get these much more expensive than this one. You've got to manage your expectations. You wouldn't expect one that's at the price point that this is at to be all singing, all dancing, but that, for me, is doing a really adequate job of cutting through this wood. And this wood is actually quite seasoned. It's been cut down for a while, so that will be quite hard wood, that. Now, if it stops cutting, it might be that the blade has gone blunt, because they do blunten these blades. You don't have to think that you've got to buy a new blade every time your blade bluntens. You can actually sharpen chainsaw blades really quite easily, and I did a video on it, so I'll put the link to the chainsaw sharpening video I did at the end of this one. Anyway, the Saka miniature chainsaw. I can imagine quite a few practical applications for this in the garden, you know, pruning trees, possibly cutting up small pieces of wood for the fire, and maybe even DIY jobs. You know, it would probably quite easily cut through some joists if you're using it on a DIY job. In fact, there's a piece of joist here. I'll give it a try. Quite lightweight and easy to handle. It's got a handle here to protect your hand. It's quite well balanced actually with the battery on, and it's got an additional little safety mechanism here in this button. It won't turn on unless your thumb is pressed down on there, and the only issue I can foresee with that is if you are left-handed. Whilst it's important not to overreach, it is helpful and useful, this, because you can reach in. This branch has been reaching over the path, so this is the perfect tool for the job. Keep your eye on the chain tension, keep it lubricated, and don't forget to take the battery out whenever you're dealing with the chain. So there we are. The Saka mini electric chainsaw. Hope you've enjoyed that. Don't forget there's a link below, and give it a try if you want one. I'm very pleased.